Welcome to Norse Code, the number one podcast for you Minnesota Vikings. I am your host, James Pagashnik, and it is Christmas clip show time in January. Listen, I'm aware of the situation. I'm aware that we're much later than usual by basically a month. This has been a very interesting offseason. This has been a very interesting season for the Vikings, and there's been a lot of content in order to sift through. As a result, this ended up getting delayed for a variety of reasons that I don't need to necessarily get into here. Just know that I love each and every one of you and apologize that it has taken this long. Next year, I swear the latest will come out. It'll be like, well, what's tonight? January 22nd? Next year's episode will not come out past January 22nd. Hopefully to be out by Christmas. Just a note to our Patreon people that you will be getting your special clip show later next week, so enjoy that. We will also be taping a new episode here in the next few days. But before we do any of that, I want to thank all of you so much for listening to Norse Code. Whether you went to a live show, bought a baby onesie, shared a link about us on social media, anything at all, or just listened to us in the car a couple of times a year, thank you. That meant the world to us. We had a fantastic year. We eclipsed 400 episodes. We have over 1 million downloads of the show, and we are so happy that we get to be a part of your commute or your time at work or just something you get to listen to on a Sunday before the game. A bit on the show. If you've never listened to one of the clip shows before, here is a reminder that these are uncensored. There is a lot of cursing in here. There's also a lot of really, really funny stuff, but there is an awful lot of cursing in here. In case you were curious, Arif does in fact swear like a sailor when he's not on K-Fan being very diplomatic about the kicking situation in Minnesota. So, we have a lot of great stuff in here. We go over Case Cookus, we go over the bees, we go over a lot of great stuff. We have some of the live show stuff. We also have some of the car stuff as well. So this one ran a little long because there was just so much good stuff in it. In closing, I would just like to say from Arif and myself, thank you guys so much for listening. Here's some fun clip show stuff.
Yeah, well, what do your vibes tell you?
This is a bit like, there's that conversation that happens when you first come back from college. And it's not that you've been there for the 4 years, it's that you've been there for 3 months. And you come back for like Thanksgiving. And you run into, maybe it's at the bar, maybe it's, just people at the town. You run into people you went into high school with, and everyone talks a little bit differently now that they've gone to college. And there's that one kid who took that took a philosophy class that's like a month into it, and now he seems to know everything about everything. And he goes, man, you're not going to believe, that's exactly why you believe in this sort of thing. That's exactly what you sound like right now, as you're talking about vibes in football.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. It's okay, so I understand this philosophy kid that you're talking about. I was probably that kid for a bit, except in high school. I did it before I entered college.
Oh, you took the hipster approach. You did it before it was cool to do that. Okay, yeah.
Before it was extremely uncool to do that.
Fair
but mostly because I didn't go to classes in college, so I can't really say that a class changed my outlook on life.
Okay. Well, yeah, that does. We'll cover that more in your James Madison acceptance speech for your honorary degree.
How many of you went to every class? Raise your hands. Okay, you put it down. We don't want to hear about you.
Yeah.
All right, see? Classes are irrelevant. None of you had perfect attendance, yet you're all here. That's going to be part of the commencement speech. No, I'm just saying that I'm not pioneering anything. I'm not revealing a hidden truth. I'm just looking at the same truths from another perspective. Vibes.
All right, so this is the podcast where Arif discovered drugs. Good times. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm
on my second Red Bull, but I've only consumed one Red Bull.
I'm going to leave that one alone and say that I would be perfectly content in a matchup that had the Bills against the Packers. I think Bills
that
against
sounds like chaos. I like that.
that would be
Plus, you get another Jair Alexander Stephon Diggs matchup. That's funny to me.
that is beautiful. I want that. So if anyone's gonna deny Aaron Rodgers a second ring, I want it to be Stephon Diggs. Like
Yeah, especially if it was a last second play. If he did that to Breeze and Rodgers, good lord.
yeah, at that point, why don't you already have a statue of him outside of US Bank Stadium?
Yeah, can you imagine the vibes?
God, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I will turn this podcast around. Do not even tempt me. We're going to go to the mailbag now, and you're going to like it, and you're going to answer this question about Deshaun Watson. Alex.
Whoa, you're harshing my mellow.
I cannot stress enough how horrible a life choice it would be to model your decisions in life on the things I say on this show and the things I do in real life. I cannot stress that enough. And that guy the other night who said that he did such a thing is one of the worst. Yeah, the tweet was, I take everything Norse Code DN says to heart and model my life strictly off his recommendations. I cannot recommend anything less.
That's going to create quite a paradox conundrum.
As somebody with a podcast, which turns into a like how-to or like advice show at times, let me tell you now just how.
You mean every week? Twice a week during the season?
Don't forget those bonus episodes up on patreon.com. Let me be perfectly clear. No, you should not do this. I am the Charles Barkley from the mid to late 90s. And not that I am not a role model. I should not be a role model. It's the lack of socialization that's kind of driving me a little bit insane. And the Super Bowl should be enjoyed with people. And if you don't have people, we can be your people for $3.50 a month over at patreon.com. Join us there for bonus episodes.
Incredible.
I'm on fire right now. Baltimore also has the possibility of trying to get a run in with the James Madison people, or at least trying to put trying to put some sort of a plaque somewhere on campus, and then taking a picture of it and then denying.
It's so funny. Oh my god.
So
it's like, yeah, I'd prefer to go to LA, but that is so funny. And that's like, those are the competing thoughts in my head.
Yes. 2021 James Madison football schedule. I'm going to double check this because I'm not. Yeah, here we go. Let's go to jmusports.com.
Let's see. November 6th. Oh, yeah. They've got one that Saturday. It's homecoming weekend.
Oh, no. Oh, no. There it is.
Oh, man.
I don't.
Let's see. How much does it take? If season tickets are $60, there's no way.
Well, we can get. Yeah, this is content. This is.
So if we got priority tickets, I could select your seating type. I guess young alumni is probably lying a little bit.
Future young future alumni.
Honorary. All right, so oh god,
this is so goddamn funny.
Homecoming. Campbell fighting camels? Wow.
Well, they're gonna destroy the fighting camels.
Yeah, it's homecoming. You gotta schedule a powder puff, right? Okay, yeah. So they don't have tickets available yet.
There's a time and a place to splurge, and I think we've reached that point.
Okay, so 2 tickets would be $76 each at the 50.
That's easy.
Yeah. Okay. So that's obviously for a different game. So
Yeah.
things are subject to change. But there's a pretty good chance that some season ticket holders will like sell their tickets on StubHub and stuff like that. But yeah, homecoming. Oh my god, homecoming weekend! I can't believe that. That's Providence.
That is, it hurts. Like I want to, like in the area. Okay, I want to spend some time in Baltimore. Probably want to spend a little bit of time in DC, actually check it out or whatever. And we're going to have to spend some time at James Madison University for the brand, for the actual for the show.
Oh wow, holy shit! Yeah, we got to do it.
Ouch. Also, Michael Lacoste asks, given that Case Cookus was built to quarterback and Ben DiNucci was built to play football, I similarly wonder what Ben DiNucci's leg is like and what the asking price would be.
Dude just loves to play the game. If it wasn't for NFLPA rules, God bless them, he'd play for free. He'd kick for free, man. It's Ben DiNucci. What can you say? The guy transferred from Pitt to play at James Madison because he just loves football. He would run the post route in a dagger concept for the love of the game.
Sometime last year, I made a comment to Arif that turned into something. It was a comment about him becoming a beekeeper. And whether that included just driving around with like a beard full of bees, because he's got the beard for it, or if this was something that was going to keep him alive in case he ended up getting pulled over by the police, this was something that turned into a joke. And then we started getting real questions on the beekeeping corner. And here is the beginning. Here is the genesis of the beekeeper corner, or more specifically, when things went awry and we started talking about race.
The other question from the dog Eddie Crane is, for Arif's beekeeping corner, one of my 2 beehives did not survive the deep winter freeze. While Arif clearly failed in giving me adequate advice on insulating them, it does give me the opportunity to try a new breed of bee when I order another package for spring. Both the deceased and surviving hives are an Italian variety. Should I stick with the same kind or try a new breed of honeybee this year? Thank you.
Okay, first of all, clearly my advice worked because one of the hives did survive a deep freeze. That's incredible. You're welcome. Second,
You're batting 500 there, I suppose.
I mean, like, what is the normal survival rate for bees surviving a deep freeze? Probably lower than 500. So I'm doing pretty well here. My bees above replacement are outstanding. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, I went to my beekeeping community, beesource.com, to see the trusted experts at beesource.com to see what the community thinks. Obviously, as an apiary enthusiast, I obviously have my own thoughts, but I wanted to check it against the community of experts that they have there. And boy, did I find out some interesting stuff. Did you know that they call the different breeds of bees in the beekeeping community races?
I did know that, oddly enough, yes.
There's nothing like inherently wrong with that, except it creates like these really weird sentences. I'm just going to read off a bunch of sentences for you, James.
Okay. All right.
I have Italians and carnies in the same yard. The difference in races can cause problems. I found this out my first year if you don't pay close attention. For example, Italians don't typically shut down brood rearing during a summer dearth. They could burn up all their stores, and come fall, and as far as colony size, they could be quite ahead of the carny colony that slowed or stopped laying during the dearth, which can lead to the larger colony trying to rob the smaller one. So keep this in mind, that if you've got that one colony can rob another colony.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it sounds like a race war at this point.
This gets way better, dude. Here's another forum comment. Italian bees are born robbers. It's the first sentence of this comment. Italian bees are born robbers. Carniolan bees aren't bad for robbing. Russian bees aren't bad either. I have both Italian and Russian bees. Italians are constantly trying to rob the Russians, but don't get very far while doing so. However, the Carniolan bees are easy targets and have to be moved from time to time, and entry shut down to 1 bee entry. This is so good. There's my favorite sentences in here. The serious answer, this is a different comment. This is 9 comments down. The serious answer is that bees are not racists like some people.
That's just an awesome sentence to say. I feel like that is said on Twitter like 18 times a day.
The reality is bees are not racists like some people. There's one sentence. Italians are well known to be robbers, or aside from the Italians' tendency to rob, like, oh my God. It's agreed apparently on this forum that Italian bees, I want to be very clear, bees are much more likely to seek resources that already exist in another beehive. I don't want to talk about property rights and bees and stuff, but they're much more likely to not care that this is another bees colony, evidently, according to this forum. They also, there was another forum. It's not this one, but I saw the phrase "race mixing is inevitable," and I. So, yeah, okay. So after reading this forum and finding a way to get over these sentences, which in reality is getting over myself. I mean, this is just how this community talks, right? But these are gems if you've never been into beekeeping. I imagine, as someone who's been into beekeeping for years, I imagine that someone who's not been into beekeeping would find these great. But
we all, regardless, we all learned something today, whether we wanted to or not.
The advice that I can give is that now that you've had a year of beekeeping under your belt with 2 of the same type of bees, Italians, and you can kind of get a good gauge for how those bees act and what's kind of within their normal range of behavior and what's not within the normal range of behavior, it would make sense to expand to another breed of bee. If you do that, you just kind of need to be careful. Some of the recommendations here are there's something called robber screens that'll prevent other bees from getting into the wrong hive. There's screens for entrances so that you can reduce the entrances to just a 1 bee entry at a time, which keeps, especially for a smaller colony, being protected from a larger colony. You can do that. Or you can do kind of a hive management to time feedings properly so that one colony doesn't get too large in relation to the other colony, so you can keep the colony sizes fairly equal. But for the most part, this is a small challenge, but it is not one that is insurmountable. A lot of apiarists have a mixture of bee types. And sometimes they'll go through, I guess it's called a breeding dearth, where they're just going to they're going to reproduce a little bit less during the summer at some point. And they might hit those cycles at different times, so you have to practice hive management. And you, now having a year of experience under your belt, will know what that looks like, presumably. You can sometimes, if one colony ends up without a queen, you can sometimes transport broods to a queenless colony, and sometimes that'll work out, sometimes it won't. But having multiple colonies is really rewarding. So that's my answer about the bee races.
about the potentials for bee race wars. The entire time you were speaking, I had the game Sim Ant going in my head in some variety. So I'm just just dealing with all of this at this point. I
Aside from the Italian tendency to rob, as stated many times above.
Okay, so I noticed like 6 Zodiac Killer questions in the mailbag, so I just read up on the Zodiac Killer.
It is odd that we need to specialize. We need to have a Zodiac Killer corner.
Yeah, we've got okay, so you actually did. I didn't even realize you actually segmented out.
Yes,
it actually is 5 Zodiac Killer questions.
Yes.
Oh my!
Wait, how many people did he kill? We can make sure we have that number of
5.
questions. It was okay. Well, then we're good.
5 confirmed, like 32 unconfirmed. So, but yeah. Oh my god! My god! Serial killer corner. Okay, so 2 people just said serial killer corner. Great.
Also from Adam, for James's avian corner, how many ravens have gathered waiting for Dusty in the basement? None, because his old butt is complaining on Twitter about his barber asking if he needed to, if he was okay with trimming his eyebrows. Dusty is complaining about that on Twitter. He is alive and well.
Amazing.
I can't come up with that sort of tweet for him. Dusty does not have a team like Jay Cutler does to kind of manage his social media.
Well, hold on. I feel like you could algorithmically create Dusty tweets. Like, I think if you fed all of his tweets to an AI learning machine or whatever, you could generate like its own. And that's how you did it. That's how you've been able to keep him in the basement.
The
and
amount
make him act as if he's.
The amount of free time that would require is slightly more than the amount of free time that I have. And
No, you just pay someone to do it using the Patreon money for the show, because that is an appropriate use of our funds, maintaining the illusion that Dusty is free and out there in society and alive.
Not to change the subject, but there was a Google News thing that popped up on my phone about Avril Lavigne talks about her stepping away from the spotlight in the early 2000s. And my only thought was, well, yeah, because it's Melissa. Like, why is that a question? Why is that
Well, why else would, I mean, we know why.
Yeah, like, this isn't news. Everybody knows that you're Melissa. It's just time to admit it.
All right, so who do you like more, Trey Lance or Justin Fields?
Lance's upside is crazy.
Okay, fuck you. Oh, we got to bleep that out. So as a family-friendly podcast. Do the numbers on the stadium clocks flip to hieroglyphics like it lost in the final 2 minutes of a half?
That's my new favorite theory. That is my new favorite theory on what is happening as far as the 2-minute drills.
That's good.
She knows what's going on. It's the Vikings won their Super Bowl, and in typical Vikings fashion, it means we have to defend the Super Bowl now. Like, we have to, like, there has to be more to it. Like, it's not just as simple as we won on Sunday and now we get to just enjoy the offseason. Oh no. I actually would like to suggest that there be a linear championship lineage now. So, like, the next team who beats the Vikings, ends up winning this, like, ends up like taking the title.
It's their Super Bowl. Yeah,
it's their Super Bowl. They take the title. So, say if the 49ers win, the 49ers take that traveling trophy home, and then the next team they play, if it's Seahawks or whatever, and then it just continues back until the Vikings can potentially win back the trophy. So I'd be curious about the linear championship that's going to happen in the NFL now that the Vikings won the Super Bowl in Week 11.
That's the only team to have done that.
And again, in typical Vikings fashion, it's not really over when you think it's over. It does end up having to be played out to the final down. I believe that you have the line from Adam Schefter tonight as to who exactly Gruden offended.
It was a clean sweep.
Quote.
For Schefter. Yeah, a clean sweep of people he offended. Yeah, I mean, he did kind of nearly hit the cycle. It was homophobic. It was sexist. Obviously, there was racism. We'd heard about that earlier. It's interesting because, like, I just want to hit onto the quotes about racism because he did have to go in front of press after that news leak and talk about that. And I've seen 3 different quotes about how he feels about the amount of racism in his body. And it is, he doesn't have a racist bone in his body. He doesn't have a blade of racism, which I've never heard in my life. And he doesn't have an ounce of racism inside of him, which, like, I have to know how many times he has had to explain how much racism he doesn't have inside of him for him to have so many different ways to convey that his body physically does not inhabit the concept of racism.
When you have when you have that many examples just on standby, you probably have a racist bone in your body.
Yeah, I would imagine that, you got to check, you got to run yourself through the racist x-ray, see which bones are racist, get that figured out. And
That's that is a difficult
the way
thing.
racism works.
Yeah, and I don't even know if the league's insurance policy necessarily covers that sort of thing.
Oh, absolutely not. No, it famously a lot of gaps in the coverage, especially with regards to racism historically.
Hey, you guys busted my balls for 3 hours yesterday about bingo things and being incredibly pedantic. I feel like...
No, fuck you first. Second, hold on. People were busting my balls about being incredibly inaccurate about what fucking words meant. What does it mean to look up a stat? Yeah, it's the exact same as looking up the name of a city. That's a stat. Hey, that city has a population and you accidentally found that up. That's you looking up a stat. That's not how fucking language works, dude. Come on. Busting your balls. Jesus Christ.
I'm just saying I got it worse than you.
Oh, yeah, I'm fucking sure. I bet.
Try to take the passive-aggressive corner from me. I fucking dare you. You're not taking it today. Not a damn second.
Oh, I believe Reef Googled something. Let's just count that.
Hey, that counted.
No, it didn't.
Well, it did in the game.
God damn, dude. Yeah, so I was actually trying to find out who had coached with Kirk Cousins so that I could answer this question. Sorry.
Well, that counts because you're looking up it's not really a
That's
stat.
not a stat. These are not stats. Why do people think words are stats?
Because it turned into a drinking game for the live show. They were looking for a reason to drink, as if this season didn't give it to them enough. We have said Ben DiNucci's name far more times than has ever been needed by any NFL broadcast or podcast this year or any future year.
But like, that's not really what's the issue here.
Arif, we can go apple picking.
Oh, the Apple House restaurant.
I told you this was going to be a romantic voyage.
Oh, perfect. Okay. You did say before we started recording that we might accidentally be in a Danielle Steele novel. So
it's just everything is so quaint. I don't.
Yeah. Very quaint. A lot of gray coats for some reason.
God damn it, Arif.
But yeah,
we're literally passing Shenandoah Battlefield's National Historical District. Thank you, Arif.
Yeah, no problem. The view is beautiful, by the way. This is gorgeous. One sec. All right. Well, now I'm glad I'm getting tested tomorrow.
I'm just glad we're documenting your final moments.
Yeah, no, this will be good. Great Patreon, like behind the paywall. Hey, Arif died. Do you want to hear it? Subscribe to the Patreon.
Oh,
what are we going to do?
This is going up. This is being sold individually. This is too good for the Patreon people. This is something that is just going to get sold like a Time Life sort of thing. Like
I mean, that makes sense. I think it's hilarious, the idea of signing up for a subscription service to hear the last episode for a sustaining membership.
You sustained longer than Arif was alive.
Here's a pin.
and a football phone. Can we send the football phone?
Football phone, yeah.
likely.
You would say that if you were on Paul Allen's show. You're just not saying that.
Yeah, it's all about context.
Before the show, I had told Arif that I appreciated how diplomatic he was being on Paul Allen's show the other day, because the day before he was on our show and had basically said the world is on fire as far as the kicking situation is concerned. He goes on Paul Allen's show and he's like, you know, I'm not sure the answer to our kicking situation is on the team right now.
That's a very polite way to put it.
Yeah.
I heard it.
I'm listening at my desk going, wow, that's there's diplomatic
You
and
know
then
your
there's that.
audience. You just know your audience. That's all.
Right before the first preseason game, the entire Vikings quarterback room ended up catching COVID, or at least being declared as close contacts. As a result, the Vikings were forced to make a number of decisions involving backups. This was taped shortly after the Vikings signed a man by the name of Case Cookus.
Ticked off that I can't. I remember his ad. It's at Jury Dude. So, hopefully that helps. He worked out, and then the Vikings also worked out. Case Cookus, a real name. I would never make fun of someone's name. They can't control that. But boy, is that a name that you would not expect to see. Case Cookus.
Yeah,
boy.
I enjoyed that. I think we got two two messages to the mailbag today that were just Case Cookus ?
Case Cookus. That's my answer. No, so he's a former Northern Arizona quarterback. He spent 2 seasons, or he had 2 seasons with season-ending injuries at Northern Arizona. Reasonable statistics. The scouting, so I haven't actually watched him, right? The scouting reports I see from like NFL.com has like a scouting report on, which is honestly surprising. Good job, Lance Zierlein, for like going out and getting that scouting report. Like, holy crap. But Emory Hunt also tweeted a scouting report. Let's see if I can find that, because Emory Hunt is like, so he's at F-Ball Game Plan, and he is just like so good about making sure that he's got all these small school scouting reports and stuff like that. So he's like pretty on the ball when it comes to this sort of stuff. So he didn't give Cookus an above 75 grade in any particular quality, but his highest quality was ball velocity. So there's arm strength and ball velocity, which were 2 different things for him. And also the second highest quality was awareness. So 74 velocity, 73 awareness, 72 arm strength. Plays 70 situational football, 64 athleticism, and so on. So I'll link the Case Cookus scouting report in the show notes. Can't believe I forgot the words for show notes. But the things that Emory Hunt liked were that, generally speaking, his accuracy at all levels was above average, but more consistent at the intermediate level. He's got a quick release and he's a quick decision maker. And he's not, he doesn't hesitate to make tight window throws. But, he missed a number of seasons. His mechanics can go awry, and that'll like hurt his accuracy. And he can be a little bit streaky in placement. He compared him actually to Sam Bradford. And I hope that's because of the 2 full seasons of missing because of injuries. That sounds great. He did win an award for being the top freshman in FCS, though. So go Cookus. Quarter season meltdown. 17-week season. It might not happen. Mathematically, it can't.
Are you saying that like? Are you saying that Kirk Cousins can't deal with fractions?
I'm just saying.
That's a pretty hot take.
Well, it's just like the Vikings, making the playoffs every other year, right? It's not a question of whether or not Zimmer can handle, even numbered years. I'm sure he can handle existentially those just fine, but the curse does what it does. It's a math-based curse. This is a math-based curse, and when the math changes, the curse disappears.
The SI.com article entitled "Kirk Cousins: His Nerdiness Makes Him an Ideal Franchise Quarterback."
Oh, yeah, we could tie that in there.
So I'm just...
Well, but if he's sufficiently nerdy, he can handle irrational numbers then. 1 over 17, that's an irrational number, right? Because 17's prime, so...
If there's a remainder, there's a remainder.
All right, we're here with Packers owner Justice Mosqueda, the least valuable guest on the podcast, here to talk about how his unvaccinated quarterback is morally inferior to our unvaccinated quarterback. What's going on, Justice?
I'd like to not talk about that, frankly. I'm getting tired of my Tuesdays getting taken up by Aaron Rodgers talking to Pat McAfee about stuff that is very quickly debunked.
So McAfee is doing an amazing job, right? Because he's requiring us to watch this every Tuesday.
Yes.
That's high tier podcasting. That's incredible stuff.
That's why he got like $30 million from like FanDuel or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah. I know people are like, "Hey, why doesn't he push back?" And he's like, "Well, that's not really what the show is about." And yeah, that's like a little morally bankrupt or whatever. But aside from that, I mean, he's just doing an incredible job.
He also does mention a lot, like he's like, "Yeah, I got the shots and stuff," and then he's just like, "Yeah, Aaron, do whatever you want." It is funny.
It's not the same as pushing back against the like misinformation about India.
Yeah, that's always bad. The India stuff is the step too far for me and Ryan. It's like you can be an idiot about your body, but when you're lying about like other foreign governments, that's when it's like, buddy, you can Google this.
Well, the issue is that he definitely found this out online. That's the
Yeah. Yes.
When Certic starts selling the Curly Fry vodka, I'm going to need you to score me a bottle of that.
Are you? Do you need that? Is that the right word to use there?
I think there's a difference between want and need, Arif, and I need this in my life. I have a somewhat respectable liquor collection at the moment, and I feel like the next step is Arby's Curly Fry vodka. They're not going to put you on a government list for buying it, Arif. You're already on most of them. Just get the damn thing. You'll be fine.
Okay, but not only will you pay me back the cost of the vodka, you'll pay me interest for the embarrassment of buying the vodka.
You can't, unless you can, like, statistically prove, and I realize who I'm talking to about this, unless you can statistically prove how the interest compounded throughout this process.
You want to go in that direction?
No, actually, I do not, because that's a terrible idea, and I immediately recognize how bad that could turn out. I could pay more in interest than I could in the vodka. And that's not where I want to go with that.
Cool. All right, let me take a look at this mailbag.
Why will no one buy me this vodka?
As hard as it is to believe,
I feel like I'm in high school again. Why is nobody buying liquor for me?
Have you seen that Mr. Beast video?
No, because I haven't seen Squid Game either, so
Oh, yeah.
I just know that he did it, and from people's comments on this, because I have seen this, it was all about how, like, he, like, I don't even know how to explain it.
Point. Yeah. Missed the point / accidentally replicated the thing that the show was critiquing to a T, like,
yeah,
like to the letter, like that's like impressively so. But also, I regret to inform you, like one of my things is that I don't really feel comfortable personally criticizing something if I haven't actually like experienced it. Like I couldn't drag the Twilight books unless I read the Twilight books, which is a stupid philosophy because it makes me do stuff like read the fucking Twilight books. So I watched the Mr. Beast video and I like, the worst part is that it's kind of entertaining. Like I was kind of enjoying myself and I'm like, fuck. I just like, it's just easier to just hate a thing. And I hate that it was made, but like, he kind of did a good job within the parameters of the thing. Like assuming that it makes sense to do this, he did a good job.
You liked the white face version of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's okay. You can admit that.
Oh, well, hold on. I would watch the hell out of
Like Matthew McConaughey doing wire work, flipping backwards like.
Oh my god! Just doing the voice he does in all his Lincoln commercials.
Yeah, exactly. He's fighting Seth Rogen for some reason. Like,
oh my god, horns up. Oh my god, wearing like Texas gear.
Meanwhile, inexplicably and likely underpaid Jonah Hill is trying to get them to stop.
Yeah, he's like ferrying the magical sword or whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah. Holy shit.
It writes itself. What
are we doing here? Why are we recording the podcast?
Why are we doing football podcasts when we can be doing white-faced versions of Asian classic cinema? Like, we could redo Audition and do it right and cut off a white guy's feet.
Perfect. Oh, perfect.
Sometime at the Minneapolis live show, I was successfully convinced by Luke Braun, I'm going to pin this all on Luke, that I needed to make a bigger version of the Norse Code League and make it worse. And I successfully, I said that, okay, I'll do it. If you're in, I'll do it. He said he was in. I got Arif to say that he was in. I got Eric Thompson to say he was in. Slowly but surely, I got another couple names added to my list, and the Hell League was born.
I wonder. So I ended up creating a Chaos League as a possible idea, a sandbox, really, to try out a few ideas for the Norse Code Leagues. Signed a bunch of people up, and I made a safety a player and assigned a lot of importance to them. Also, the kicker is very, very important, and I hope your defense shows up to play. So, like, the safety is going to be a very important position. You're probably going to want somebody who does a lot of tackles.
I hate you so much. I hate me so much because you told me this was going to be a maniacal league. And I was like, yeah, of course, sign me up.
Yeah, like, well, it'd be dumb for me not to play. And then you look at like, oh, damn it. Really? This is where we're at.
I think that Norse code might be the best when they are on topic, but I could definitely see how all the side chatter might put some people off.
I mean, that's all in the second half of the episode.
Oh, absolutely. It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
I tried.
If we split it up, that would be insane. Like if we were just like, yeah, this part's the Vikings podcast. This part's about beekeeping. Please download the episode.
Well, it's the message I tweeted out the other day about doing an off-topic show, and football would just slowly creep into the last hour. Like, we can't do that.
I never want to hang out with Tony Robbins once in my life. If I am in a room with Tony Robbins, I have made a series of mistakes. So that's what I mean.
I want that to be a show title, but it's too long. Tony Robbins hungry. Tony Robbins.
I did want to mention, kind of as a final thing, if we could just combine the Vikings and Giants thing for a moment with one of Arif and I's favorite Vikings moments is the Josh Freeman, Eli Manning
oh my God.
Monday Night Football
A
game.
masterpiece.
Incredible.
A
Just
masterpiece. That's when I love football the most, because football is great when it's two great teams and they have a great game. But everyone always talks. It's just like, oh, just bad football. Bad football can be just as entertaining as good football. And if you get a true disaster of a game like that one is, where everything just keeps getting worse and it just becomes a masterpiece of nihilism.
Yeah,
I love it.
And it produced, I think, two of the best sports gifs I've ever seen. One, of course, is Josh Freeman throwing to the moon where they splice the bit from gravity where the spaceship blows up. Incredible gif, right? Mm-hmm. The second is the one where Jared Allen sacks Eli Manning through an offensive lineman.
Yes.
And Eli doesn't realize he's in the grasp for a second. So his face as he's getting pulled down and he can't see Jared Allen.
I have been inverted. What is going on here?
I love it.
That's one of my favorite bad games of all time.
Yeah, when I did an AMA on Reddit, they were like, "What's the most bizarre game?" I immediately answered 2013 Josh Freeman against the Giants Monday Night Football. It's so memorable.
It's that one, probably because my team was involved. I think if I had to be neutral, it would be the 6-6 Cardinals Seahawks tie from a few seasons ago. that may be the peak of just bad nonsense football. Just the look on Pete Carroll's face when their kicker also missed, and
just pain.
It's just like you see like his eyes go into a black hole, and his brain is just not there anymore, and he's trying to process what just happened, as we're all trying to process that just happened. Because that game was incredible because it was terrible for like 3 quarters. And then it got kind of interesting. He's like, oh, somebody has to win this. And then nobody won it.
Like, no, as it turns out, I was wrong. No one has to win this. And that can be part of the fun.
McNabb didn't realize that.
I'm not sure I've ever laughed harder at anything than when the Seahawks missed what should have been the game winner field goal and the game ended up tying. I had to like get off my chair and like walk around the room. I was laughing so hard.
The NFL got into a lot of trouble over a story that wasn't covered nearly as well as it should have been about race norming and the research that was made involving black athletes and white athletes and the sport of football. As a takeoff on that, Arif and I started talking about race norming and babies and all of that, and it turned into this, which is one of my favorite bits of the year. And I can see why some people wouldn't necessarily enjoy it as much, but this was something that Arif and I laughed at an awful lot.
Yeah, so let's talk about the sport that shouldn't exist.
Wait, baby racing or?
What? No, football.
Baby. I don't know.
That's arguably more ethical than football.
Well,
it really depends on where you draw the line on child labor.
Well, it really depends on if you're going to be including the black children in like the same.
Oh yeah, baby
level.
Race norming.
Yeah, baby race norming.
Fuck. Go hell.
You know, there's such thing as grade inflation. I just wonder what we're doing for these children that are going to be a part of the baby racing.
Oh my god. Wow. You know, what we need is we need to make sure that baby racing catches on, that we normalize baby racing.
Yes.
Norm baby racing, if you will. God.
Can we have a month or we're trying to celebrate the diversity in baby racing? Because I feel like that's important.
Yeah,
Can we make it the shortest month of the year and the coldest so that people can't
we'll make it the shortest and coldest month of the year. And in the name of baby racing, we'll donate the money to a charity that if you follow it through 8 steps, we also are on the board of.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you know the NFL gave money to a charity like alongside Jay-Z that one of the things they did, or actually the primary thing they did, so one of the charities they gave to, I should say, like cut the dreadlocks off of young black kids?
Wait,
yeah, it was like,
you can give, not that I want to, but you can give money for that?
Yeah. No, there's, yeah. Okay, I gotta look this up. It was insane. It was basically like someone brought back like the 1800s discourse about civilizing like the savage. Like it's nuts. And Jay-Z told the NFL to give them money.
And so the NFL is like capital ideal sport?
Yeah, right? The NFL has apologized for social media posts some deemed insensitive, including 2 with images of her cutting off the dreadlocks of 2 black teenagers. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, again, not that I want to do it, but that you can give money to that cause.
Well, I mean, the charity has since apologized, so I guess not anymore. But
damn it. Wait, again, I don't want to do this. I just want to know that it exists.
Yeah, the Crushers Club, Jesus. And another Crusher, let me cut his dreads off. It's symbolic of change and their desire for a better life. Oh, wow. Yeah, so their stance is that there's just a thing they did, not the thing they do.
Oh, is that what you say now?
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, yeah. So that's this week in NFL race relations.
So occasionally I listen to the Pat McAfee show at work, and Pat McAfee is definitely not the most like PC of people for shows, whatever. But he doesn't tackle anything super hard. He doesn't really need to. But he started off his show the other day with a discussion on this, and I just remember sitting there just going, because I had heard about it, but I hadn't.
The race norming stuff. It's abhorrent. It's like race science stuff.
Yeah, exactly. But I was sitting there just going, fucking Pat McAfee is going in on this, like super going in on it. It's like, what the Jesus? Okay, this actually does have like the legs of a story that it should. It doesn't have the legs of Aaron Rodgers sitting out for OTAs or whatever, but it definitely has legs. It definitely pissed people off. Do you see Drop Play Dave's comic about it?
Oh my god, no. I'll go to, what is it, thedrawplay.com? Yeah.
I believe he did one. If he didn't, it was somebody else. Now, the eyes of the one black journalist.
Okay, that is good. That's good. Oh my god.
Apparently I never retweeted it, so let's just fix that.
It's very much got vibes of was it Chappelle or just somebody, the SNL skit right after the 2016 election?
Oh yeah, Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle in the background, while all the white people in the room are going, I can't believe America's racist now.
When you go and visit friends, it's customary to bring them a gift. Especially if you're going to a new city or their new place, or you're just trying to, ease the awkwardness of the situation. We were going to have a bunch of people at the table that hadn't really sat at a table all together before, so I figured I would bring gifts for the table at the Minneapolis live show. Here's the wine gift.
I wanted to thank everyone for coming out to the show, Eric and Luke especially for coming out. And so I came from out west, and I brought a few gifts for the table to show my appreciation to everyone here. And the first thing I want to do is give something to Luke, who I couldn't give this away, sadly. So
no one wanted it.
It's deeply cursed.
If you ignore the Shields sticker on this where it's been marked down.
Why would I? That's part of its charm.
I have a Lego Carson Wentz.
Why is it up for him?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Because
why would I want it?
I have no Carson Wentz takes.
I went to NDSU. He hates Carson Wentz, and you give it to Luke?
I'm giving it to Luke for a reason, because I have something special planned for the rest of the table.
Oh, great.
Oh, good.
So, Luke, I wanted to give this to you, mainly to get this out of my house, but also because I can't in good faith give you the signed Christian Ponder football that I have today.
As bad as I want it.
You're going to have to reach across the table.
I do have this.
Yeah.
It is only slightly less brittle than the real life.
There are pieces missing.
No. There's pieces floating around.
What happened to the entire right foot?
I know, but it's spread to Quentin Nelson, so.
Yeah.
Apparently,
How many pieces? How many pieces?
It lost it back when it had its big sale price. I don't know.
Hey, 420. 420 pieces. Perfect.
But
I don't know that Carson Wentz would get that reference.
no, he would be very confused. But for Arif and Eric, I wanted something special, and I wanted something they could share. And when you go over to a friend's house, if they're serving dinner or something, maybe you bring them a nice bottle of wine or something to help. Just to add, like, I thank you for bringing me here and all that. So what I did was, I stopped in Fargo.
Oh no!
Can you hand me that, please?
I just hear noises.
And I stopped in Fargo, specifically because I saw this the last time I was in Fargo, and I said to myself, if it's still there, I'm getting it. So I got you guys a nice bottle of wine to share. And I know that there's no real rivalry between James Madison University and NDSU, so you should have no problem drinking from the 2019 Division I football champions bottle.
Oh, I wish you could see Reeve's face.
If you're not here and you can't see the look on Reeve's face right now.
With the score.
It's like he just saw the Ark of the Covenant.
God, oh no! Why did they keep that? When did they make that? Why did they keep it in stock?
They have more. At the 45th Avenue Happy Harry's.
Vintage.
At the 45th Avenue, I believe it's Avenue.
Yep.
Yep.
It is. You still live half a mile away. Yep.
Sorry for knowing. Yep.
Yeah, how many trips did you make, Eric?
What's that?
How many trips did you make?
More than he's willing to admit. They actually, they also had championship bubbly, but I felt like that didn't cover it the way that not only putting James Madison etched into this, but the score as well.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Oh my God.
Like, the etching is deep and colored. This is a tactile thing. Like, it's.
Arif is reacting like he is the father on Jerry Springer right now, by the way.
It's Maury Povich. And this is a lovely 2016. It's a lovely 2016 California Red Blend. What else can I tell you about this? I'll put this out for
Absolutely, yes.
for pictures' sake.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, yeah, this is way better than the Carson Wentz thing. Thank you.
Yeah, this is way better than the Carson Wentz.
This one hurts you way worse.
Yeah, oh my God. Wait, how much did that cost?
I'm not. Well, ignore the PayPal transaction back to my account when this comes in. But
Worth it.
I haven't sent it in yet. But this is the 2019. I'm going to put a photo of this up on Twitter. Photos of this have already been taken, but this is truly a one-of-a-kind, even though there's more of these over at the Happy Harry's.
Beautiful.
And there's different variations of it too, but this is the only one that actually has the name of the school.
So that do they keep making them, or are people just not buying it?
I assume that no. Here's the problem. I assume that NDSU is so tired of winning that they're just done like buying special editions of things. They're like, oh, we'll just buy the next special edition next year. It'll be fine.
Living in the distant past of 2 years ago. You hate to see it.
You are supposed to age wine. That's kind of the thing.
So I was gonna say, Eric, if you join the Norse Code League this year, if there is some sort of a wager between you and Arif in a game, I imagine that this could be like a traveling trophy.
Oh my gosh, yes. The most missed extra points has to hold it. I think that's a great trophy.
Well, I'm drafting a kicker in the first round.
Yeah. Greg Joseph.
It was only a matter of time.
So, yeah, I showed this to Luke earlier, and I'm surprised he lived to tell the tale. So, yeah, this is
You didn't tell me?
Of course not.
It's
Jesus.
beautiful.
How would I tell you?
It was
Betrayal.
worth the live surprise. This is absolutely worth every second of it.
Yeah, so
At 2, Lucas.
I had seen it a few months ago, and if I come back here it's there, I'm gonna grab it. And a buddy checked yesterday, and it was there, so I was happy to pick it up. So
I'm sure you were.
I may have giggled like an 8-year-old as I was like walking up and handing my credit card to the guy at Happy Harry's. Like, this is gonna be really funny in like 6 hours. It's just the only thing I can think about on the 4-hour. The only thing I can think about during the whatever the hell it is you're calling that traffic like thing on the way into town from St. Cloud to 94.
Oh, you mean 94 being shut down for 25 miles right as you get into the Twin Cities? Yeah, that's fine.
No, I used to live here. I know what Highway 10's like. It's not much. It's just the only difference between the two is that you're not feeling like you're in the Matrix, like the second movie of the Matrix.
The second movie.
Like I'm not saying that there were guys fighting on top of a semi when we were coming in. I am saying it was that close. Somebody could have fallen off the semi and crashed into the car, and it'd be a terrible situation.
Cuckoo bananas.
Well, this will be James's race corner. I feel like instead of having the woke, liberal progressive with a left-wing podcast handle this question, we're gonna have it go to James, middle-aged white guy from a predominantly Republican state in a increasingly Republican city, who works at a hilariously unvaccinated college.
A riotously unvaccinated college.
It's fun. It's fun to look at, doom. I think I had I tweeted earlier, I was like, I no longer fear death or infinity. So, bring it on.
Yeah. An armored vehicle advancing to support the MSP riot line. God damn, this is so cool. I love living in today now.
That is not where I expected this conversation to go.
Yeah, I mean, if Jeff Gladney gets arrested one week, there's a fucking riot another week. Who fucking knows, man? Jury's going to deliberate on the 19th. Super excited.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like it. It doesn't sound like there's any sort of anxiousness at all there.
No, I mean, The Athletic was like, hey, man, could you write something about this? And I'm like, fucking, look, if you're gonna ask me to write about this, you're gonna get what you get.
Listen, have you read my work on the prior on anything? Here, Luke Braun shared this earlier. Here's something I had written a couple of years ago. Dusty just retweeted, me to out of town media. Strap the fuck in, because I'm about to tell you about North St. Paul, West St. Paul, South St. Paul, and St. Paul Park. None of these are St. Paul, and you'll never correctly guess them on a map. Media, I think I'll figure out Inver Grove Heights and Mendota Heights. Me, bitch, you thought. Media, the Lowry Tunnel is on Lowry Avenue, right? Me, y'all look stupid as hell.
Hey, Apple Valley, Golden Valley, same place, right?
Oh, obviously. Yes. Mendota Heights and Inver Grove Heights need to merge and everyone knows it. Yes. Actually, that is correct. I am not going to disagree with you on that. Downtown St. Paul should just be its own city, too. Downtown St. Paul is nothing like the rest of St. Paul.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
It's like
that's true.
we can all just accept a giant crater in the map. All of this is kind of like the before times. This is nothing like downtown St. Paul is just, especially after 5:00. There's nobody down there. There's the Excel Center and what else now? Actually, before we did, I wanted to ask you about the so did you see the Cameo thing that got sent to us?
What?
Yeah.
No. What?
Yep. Hold on, I'll find it here. Oh, it was a response to a tweet I had here. So, of all people, I say of all people, it actually makes really good sense. So, Damian Barrett went and decided that he was going to spend $40 on Cameo. Spent $40 on this. And apparently that's not a clickable link, so you got to copy and paste that, sorry.
Yeah, looks like, all right. No fucking way.
Yep.
That is CJ Ham.
What the fuck? So dumb.
Yep. That is CJ Ham.
Why does CJ Ham have a cameo?
I don't know.
Oh my god, I can't. That's.
He's doing all of my Christmas cards next year. Like. I'm gonna get a jersey out of this, damn it. I'm gonna buy. He's gonna do all of my Christmas cards this next year. Apparently, and this is true, CJ Ham, like what happens is you put in for the cameo request with a bunch of stuff on it, things to say to the other person, and they can reject it. Right. And he initially rejected it for whatever reason, and then Damian Barrett resubmitted talking about the fantasy league, and apparently that's what got his attention.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Did Damien send an email or something with all of this information on it?
He sent a DM to the Norse code account at one point when he did this about 2 weeks ago. I forgot to mention it on the last week's show, but about 2 weeks ago he said this. So I initially sent this in, and it got rejected. So I went in and put the stuff about the negative 25 point rule for fantasy football. And at that point, it was accepted. So apparently that's what caught his eye. That was like, so CJ Ham is aware
oh my God.
of the Norse Code Fantasy League rule. And how we punish kickers.
James and Arif, what's going on? It's CJ Ham with the Minnesota Vikings. I just want to take a second to say thank you on behalf of your listeners. Thank you for continuing to keep everybody entertained during this COVID season on your Norse Code podcast. Your listeners enjoy it. They love it. Love seeing what you guys write. So I just want to say thank you on their behalf, and that all of fantasy football should adopt your missed point rule, man. So y'all have a great day. God bless you. Skol.
All right, so the official position of the podcast in the Relationship Corner is that you should not lie to your significant other.
I never agreed to that at all.
That said. Every offseason, the Vikings sign a veteran wide receiver for cheap, and people get excited.
Well, did it work for those players?
No, it never does. I mean, these fans somehow delude themselves into thinking it might, but it might work for D.D. Westbrook.
It's so dumb, and I can't unhear it.
Did it sound, because, when you hear yourself in there, does it sound similar?
The inflection at the end did sound similar, yes. You're just going to have to accept your...
No, it's not. No,
your Dave. I have long since accepted that I have the voice of the guy who does the Jack in the Box commercials. You're just going to have to accept that you... Like, the commercials where he's threatening Burger King and McDonald's and, like demanding phone calls from their CEOs and everything. It was brilliant stuff, but
it's just people have told me for a while now, because I've done this for so long, that I've got a pretty good voice for like radio and podcasts. And now I have to ask if they've been lying to me this whole time, because I don't consider David, like, I love his work, but I don't consider him to have like an elite radio voice or anything like that.
You're just going to have to accept. I have accepted the Jack in the Box voice. You can accept the fact that you have a bit of a similarity to David Cross's voice.
Well, the way you phrase that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable than sounds like David Cross.
Well, I'm also, trying not to upset the talent because we still have another hour and a half to go.
Yeah, I'm going to throw a tantrum and just quit in the middle of the podcast.
You were threatening to do so on Twitter the other day, so don't give me that crap. So
look, I've never done that on a podcast.
A lot of the fun of the pre-show stuff ends up being sent over to the Patreon people, and this was one of our favorites this year. And something that we have referenced repeatedly on the show as a result. Darren Rovell put out a tweet last year. Well, I suppose last year is the wrong term for it. Late 2020, had put out a tweet that involved a remastered, I want to say, look at the JFK assassination for no good reason. And as a result, he got hammered on social media about it. This particular clip involves some fine improv between Arif and I, channeling our inner Darren Rovells and trying to figure out what would be the best way to handle this for his social media team.
So I don't know, man. If I got a coaching job that I was wildly unqualified for, like, so any coaching job?
That's the Rams thing, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. The team he covers and his fave. Fuck you, Kenneth.
I only remember it being the Rams thing because everyone was dunking on the decision on Twitter.
Andy Benoit, no one has ever told me how to pronounce his fucking name. Benoit.
Would he be a worse assistant coach than Darren Rovell?
So Darren Rovell would be a worse coach, but if you could choose any role in the organization to assign someone, Andy Benoit would be way worse to have. Like, at least Rovell can like probably organize like some sponsorship opportunities for your team and bring in revenue. Like, you don't have to make him a coach, right? But if you had to make him a coach, yeah, you'd absolutely want somebody who's actually watched football, which regrettably Andy Benoit has.
Yes, but what exactly is Rovell bringing to the table other than alternate angles of the JFK assassination and, let's say...
He's like personal friends with like a bunch of people in corporations. Like, that's his thing. So he could probably leverage that to get a sponsorship deal. That's what he'll do. You have to keep him away from Twitter so that he doesn't tweet out a strangely high definition assassination from the fucking 1960s. Like, did he upscale? Like, how did that happen?
He's got a team. It's the same team that goes in and sweetens up his pictures of all the food items from the ballparks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he probably does have a team. That's the worst part. Can you imagine like sending your team like, hey, so tomorrow morning is the anniversary of the JFK assassination, and then everyone nods like, oh yeah, that's a lot. What are you going to do about that, Darren?
People like, wait, why would you do anything for that? Is the intern in the back who is paid to not talk?
Right. Yeah. Right. So what are you going to do to commemorate the event, Darren? If that's because you've called a meeting here to talk about it, so clearly you've got a plan.
It's in 3 weeks. What are we doing?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. I've obtained a copy of the footage. Sorry, excuse me. The footage, like the funeral, like please say funeral. And now it's the Star Wars meme. Mm-hmm. No, sorry, the assassination footage. I have obtained a copy of the Zapruder film.
Oh, that's amazing. Wait, is it from an alternate angle from mysteriously from the grassy knoll? Because that would be newsworthy.
No, it's the original Zapruder footage. And the problem is, please say that you have it. Please say that the problem is that you have it. No, that's not it. The problem is that it's pretty low definition. Yeah, Darren, it's from the 1960s.
Yeah,
right. I don't know what that means, but if you could, there's so much stuff people are doing nowadays to make things like more like higher definition and remove the fuzz. If you could remove the fuzz sorry, Darren, you're asking us to remove the fuzz?
Listen,
from
guys.
the Zapruder film.
Listen, guys. They brought Leia back. They brought Grand Moff Tarkin back in a Star Wars movie. I feel they had Tupac at Coachella. I've been told. So okay, I feel like we can do something.
One, I am surprised you know who Grand Moff Tarkin is. Two, do you want us to deep fake the assassination footage? Oh, no. I just want you to clean up the footage to make it more watchable. You want us to make the assassination of President John F. Kennedy more watchable? Yes. So
I like how deep faking would actually somehow be a worse thing. Like, what's he gonna do? Put Jay-Z in the governor's position? Like, what are you gonna do at that point?
Right, exactly. So if you could like machine learn or artificial intelligence, okay. So you want us to AI upscale the footage from the JFK assassination? Yeah, the tweet's going out at 8:30 Eastern. The morning of the assassination anniversary. So if you could do that, that'd be great. If you can't do that, I'm firing all of you. So get to it.
The intern. Wait, what about me? This is a terrible idea. Why would you even want to do this? You know where the door is. I only hired you because of your father. Go.
I just like look, everyone's going to be talking about the JFK assassination on the anniversary of the JFK assassination. And if we don't have something about something that everybody is talking about, then we're falling behind. Because if you're not getting ahead, you're behind.
Darren, question. I forgive me if I'm wrong, because I'm not up to snuff on some of the history stuff. Typically, people send out things like this. Like, this is a grand gesture. I see what you want to do with it, but things like this usually go out on like the 5 and 10 year things, because we're on a base 10 system for like life. So is it like the 40th or the 45th or anything, or is it just like an odd number that it's gonna be?
Sorry, no. I don't know what base 10 means, but no, it's not the 40th anniversary of the JFK assassination. Do your research.
but if you're doing this, why not wait until like 2 years from now, when it would be
when has somebody on social media ever done something better by waiting? Never. Thank you. We wouldn't want to be the second to tweet out the video of the JFK assassination. Can you believe that? How embarrassing would that be?
50 years old now. Yes. We don't want to be the second to post this video that's 50 years old now.
He would totally unironically say that.
And another thing about the chili dog I had at Comiskey last week.
Sorry, Darren, you don't want to be the second to post the most famous piece of home video recording in history? Yes. What if somebody else has the idea to AI upscale the Zapruder film?
Yeah. We got to get a bid for this too, because this is going to be expensive.
Zapruder film, AI upscaled, presented by M&M's.
We had to get sponsorship.
Cover the cost of the AI upscaling.
Yes.
And they would love to have their brand associated with the presidential assassination.
Well, wait, can we get them to do a commercial where the peanut and the regular M&M are in the car? Like, would that be borderline? Would that be borderline tasteless? Like, I'm curious, because I can see I can hear the peanut guy saying, "Oh no!" Like,
Jesus. A bit aside, I could totally see them doing that. Jesus fucking Christ. Because they've done a lot. Well, I mean, the whole thing, they have to stick the digital figures in filmed footage, so that's their whole thing. But they've done like historical stuff. I think. Like, they put them on the moon, right?
They have put them on the moon, yeah.
Yeah. But, like, yeah, I could see them doing that. Jesus Christ. Okay, anyway.
He is Mr. Useful Human, Arif Hassan. Arif, let me be the first to apologize for what happened on Wednesday involving the shotgun. I'm sorry.
The phrase, "let me be the first to apologize," feels inappropriate here, because you would be the only one who could apologize for shooting me in the face with a shotgun that I know of.
I mean, Draw Play Dave has some responsibility, I feel, for putting me in the situation. Norse code.
That's you metaphorically shooting the messenger. I feel like he is an intrepid journalist detailing the events of the day. For example, the time J.J. Watt built a money fort and then a money robot.
Yes.
That was journalism. In much the same way as the time you broke the, in case of optimism break glass shotgun. That was a simple reporting of the facts. And you shot me.
With Nessie, who also bears some responsibility here, I feel.
James and in Scalia.
Really? I was going for a Dick Cheney sort of thing, but here we are. For those who have no idea what we're talking about, check out the draw play. We had mentioned it briefly on last show that it was going to be Norse code themed. We'd gotten the tip on it, and boy howdy was that Norse code and Vikings themed. That couldn't have included more.
It was chock full of Norse code references. I was actually not excited. I thought it was just going to get like a small shout, and it was just like a fan letter to Norse code. It was fantastic.
It truly was. It truly was beautiful. Thank you to Draw Play Dave for that. That was very great. What was even better for me was so Norse code Nessie tends to be the stuffed animal that my 8-year-old sleeps with. So I got to show him today the comic. I just didn't show him the last frame of it. And he thought it was so funny that the stuffed animal was used as like a break glass, whatever. And then he just didn't see the last panel of it. And I think I'm good with that.
That's very much like what like Looney Tunes does, right? Well, most of the time, obviously they have like direct shotgun blast too, but like the implication of future violence is implied, is part of the cartoon slapstick that they do a lot in Looney Tunes.
Yeah. So
that's pretty good.
He enjoyed the fact that not only was Dad a comic, but his stuffed animal was as well. So that was awesome. Please check it out. Please follow him on Twitter. He's awesome. And speaking of which, we're going to try to get him on here in the next show or two and talk a bit about the comic and why a reef keeps dying in them. This is not the first time. It's not the second time. And I don't think you died in the Carson Wentz one. You did, however, dive from the exploding building, which is...
Right. I put myself at risk of life and limb, but more in a sort of I'm proud to serve kind of way than in like this comic is punishing me kind of way.
Well, you were serving hard truths. And
right.
And
I was literally serving them, actually, if you read the comic.
Yep, hard truths cut both ways, and that's exactly what happened there. So,
all right, next question is from Damian Barrett, who asks, following his Pulitzer-esque study of the Anthalia conflict, bees, James, I wanted to quiz Arif on my observations... I get no respect on this podcast. On my observations of the growing turf war between birds and squirrels in my neighborhood. Is this a common conflict between the species, and which side should I align myself with?
I'm not going to put myself into another animal race war. That's not happening. You can't make me can't do it.
Just go bees again.
I suppose you could just do a blanket statement about how bees are the superior ones in this case.
That sounds like I'm putting myself into a species race war. I'm not going to ask if these are Italian birds or Russian squirrels. These are not questions I'm going to raise.
Or if they are Africanized bees.
Okay, that's screwed up.
It's a term that
I
gets
understand
used.
It's a term in the bee community, which, having done research on the bee community, is not a community I want to ensconce myself in. It's a rich and thriving community with a couple of problems. Birds and squirrels, sure, that's a conflict. That's probably really a conflict in suburban neighborhoods more than it is like in nature, but they do have similar food sources. So yeah, why not? Don't align yourself with one of them. Let them fight it out.
Are you suggesting that you play both sides in this situation?
You don't play a side. They just do their thing.
it is. We'll just have to see if he shows up on game day.
Right. Well, we'll see. We'll see how good of a father he is. And by that, I mean if he tweets he's not one.
Boy, that got oddly specific. And all of the foam that I have set up in my new space proceeds to crumble down. Like it was, as the episode started. I'm keeping this in. I don't care. I'm not doing an edit point for this. I recently moved and I put up my foam and everything up into the corner, and everything like looked good when I sat down, and then slowly but surely one
to 3 pieces just started falling, and like
so beautiful.
I had 24 pieces up. I may have 6 left now.
Incredible.
Like all during the last bit of that question, just watching the lemmings fall off the ledge. It was.
If you feel called out, I guess that says something about you, huh?
Boy, I don't even know where to start on this.
I feel like there are so many people in our fantasy leagues that are the 2021 Vikings of the Norse Code fantasy league.
I like how it's just about everybody who gets paid to cover the Vikings in the Hell League is all like in the basement. We're all terrible, and we're losing to an opera singer from Canada. So I just want to point that out. This is no disrespect, Nolan. I'm just saying that the Vikings analysts are not bringing their A game this year. Although I'm like in 6th, they're 7th in that league now. So I'm playing him this week. So I'm trying. I got 30 points off a safety tonight. One of our favorite parts of the year involved the Draw Play comic coming out, and Arif and the shotgun and Nessie and all of that, the turkey bin and all that. So stuff like that. So we brought Draw Play Dave on, and he did not disappoint.
Have you grown tired of your picture going viral as far as the Plexico Burris tweet?
That's weird. That's the first time that's ever happened to me in this particular, because everything I've ever made that's gone viral has been something I've deliberately made and put out into the world and be like, love it, please. And then sometimes, very occasionally, people are like, yeah, okay, we like that, and we share it. This is the first time I haven't done that on purpose. That's just happened to me randomly. I made that tweet 3 years ago, and then it all of a sudden starts getting screen capped and sent around. And my mom sends me a tweet, sends me a picture of it, and a teacher I haven't talked to for like 10 years, he says like, hey, this popped up on my Facebook feed today. And I'm like, why? What? This is weird.
Look,
when I first saw that, I was like, that looks a lot like Draw Play Dave. That's really weird. And then I didn't think about it. It didn't cross my mind that it actually was you. I was just like, oh, well, I mean, there's a lot of Giants fans. Surely someone looks like the guy I think it is.
Honestly, the first time I saw it, I'm like, of course they cropped out my Twitter name, you know? Of course
right.
Like,
that's how the meme economy works, right?
Yep.
Like, they're not quite stealing my art. However, they're now stealing my face.
I've seen people go to some weird effort just to erase like my watermark and signature from comics that have gone viral. They'll just like crop in the edges so badly that it's like unreadable in some ways, but it gets rid of my name in the corner. And it's just like, at that point, just share the picture. It's like, share the high quality picture, not your poor JPEG screenshot. What are you doing?
Just slap your own watermark over the Draw Play Dave watermark and hope nobody notices.
Be like, if we're going to do that, when's your next comic coming out? Like,
you're right. Yeah. Wow, good post, facebook.com/NFL memes.
Yeah. As I'm reminded of every time Eric Thompson has complained that people have taken his Vikings fans and having nice things pie charts.
Well, I agree with Eric, but it is funny because Eric is like a little upset about like essentially 2 circles and some text, and we're talking to like a guy who's like, yeah, I spent like, I don't know, like 10 hours doing this, and you know, it's like art, and it took a while to get the skills to do this.
Yeah. And it's not like, you know, it's kind of a livelihood that, you know, it's mildly important that people see it and know who made it and then come to me with contracts and things like that. It's just, you know, slightly.
I have a question about that. So so you've been asked to do, I mean, I assume one of the most lucrative things for you besides the comic itself is whenever people ask you to do, you know, the 32 logos in whatever style, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, like the 32 in Peyton Manning face and the Donald Trump one. And the thing about that one is I have seen so many people with the Donald Trump Vikings avatar, and I assume every team Twitter, I assume like, you know, Cardinals Twitter and Giants Twitter and, you know, all the other team Twitters, right, have people with the Trump as the logo as their avatar.
There's got to be people like that. There's a guy with the Eagles one as a tattoo, which cracks me the fuck up.
Is that weird?
It's extremely weird because I really want to like meet that guy because I just want to be like, do you realize that this picture that you now have permanently tattooed on your body was made by a Giants fan to make fun of Trump? Because I guarantee you that's not why he got the tattoo. He probably thought it was genuine.
Yeah, because most people, at least in my interactions, with these Team Trump avatars are like big Trump fans. And they were just like, yeah, I get to combine my two interests.
Yeah, the problem was I made it when he was still a joke candidate. I made it when he was... It was like before the primaries. It was like the December before the primaries.
Oh my god! So like he announced his candidacy by going down the hotel.
Like he was there. Everybody was mocking him. Nobody took him seriously. It was just like make fun of Trump. So I made that. It's the most viral thing I've ever made, and it's everywhere. Like the San Diego Chargers version got stolen for a restaurant logo in Iraq.
Oh, that rules! I mean, I'm sorry, but that's so funny.
It's like Trump Fish or something. It's like a seafood place. And I'm just looking at it, I'm like, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't.
Yeah, right. You can have that.
This is too bizarre for me to even try and fight.
Wow. Dude, after the show, you got to send us that's incredible. So do people I assume that it's like people interact with you using art you've made as their Twitter avatar profile pic and they don't know that. Right? Like, there's got to be
assume will occasionally happen. There have been moments. Actually, that happened with a legitimate NFL player, Lane Johnson. Lane Johnson was. I make the draft cards every year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And he was using my drawing as his Twitter avatar. And at some point, somebody connected the two of us, and I noticed it, and I was just like, "Hey, Lane. Thanks for using my picture." And he followed me and I'm like, he had no idea. So it's just one of those rare moments. I think the players see my stuff occasionally, but it's always secondhand. It's almost never directly.
Right.
So it was really cool to actually interact with one directly. And that's happened very few times.
So I wanted to ask, because not everyone had a chance to read your story on
why not? Go to thedrawplay.com right now and read the story. Pause this.
The podcast.
Pause it. I will be here when you return. Read it. It's probably one of my few good blog posts. So, it's words about me suffering. Come on.
That's worth reading, yeah. I feel like every, how I became a Vikings fan, and yours is sort of that, blog post is, endlessly entertaining because somewhere in the middle there is just, a deep well of regret.
It turns into some turn of the century kind of prose about you might as well be living with some hooker in Mexico at some point, being and everything had just gone wrong, and you had to leave the United States because of reasons.
Because of reasons.
Just some moment,
took a left turn.
There's some moment somebody may have been shot. You just kind of accept it at that point.
No, that's the Giants fan story.
Oh, that's the well. I mean, I'm adding on to it here. There is a great post. We had directed people to check it out both on Twitter and over at on Twitter and over at the website. So check that out. It's a really nice story, and it helps explain why the Vikings have kind of always been your second fan. Greetings, sirs. My eldest daughter just hit her 3rd birthday. This milestone has me pondering a question that must have plagued humankind for a millennia, so I thought I'd ask the experts. When will my daughter cease to be a raging a-hole? Or, failing that, do you have any advice on how to turn this personality trait into gainful employment? Also, is it odd that I would rather listen to a screaming toddler than hear Kirk Cousins try to explain a single damn thing? Maybe it's just me. Thanks for all the hard, or at least time-consuming work.
All right, so my open bias on this podcast, and especially in the parenting corner, is that I don't like children.
It's still
funny. So let's enter the parenting corner with that in mind, and also add never. The answer is never. She's always going to be an a-hole. It's just going to be different how that manifests, right, over time. So, like, when she's 3, she's going to invade personal space and be loud all the time. When she's 5, she's going to take all your stuff. Like, it's going to be different, but she's always going to be an a-hole because she's a child, and all children are always a-holes, even the nice ones.
Really tried. All right, well, let's start her off then. Presumably, it's still Justice Mosqueda. I liked the name on the recording.
Yeah.
Anything I need to know about that thing, or is it one straight take?
I think it's one straight take. We don't repeat ourselves. I don't think either of us swore. There was a moment where, I mean, you're probably just going to listen to the whole thing anyway, but there was a moment where I'm trying to dance around the iTunes explicitness rating, but I actually think I did a good job, unless perineum is not allowed, unless we're not allowed to use that word. Anyway, you said you weren't going to listen to it? All right, I'm good. No, you all right?
Why the fuck?
What? What's weird about that?
Vikings podcast. Use the word perennium in it.
Well, we were talking about Aaron Rodgers.
No, that's not an answer. That's not a reason.
Well, you're going to have to listen to find out. The final 15 minutes or so, I guess I should have kept track of this one. The final 15 minutes or so are him asking me questions for the Packers version of the podcast. I actually don't think it's that bad to include for the Daily Norseman version. So we could include literally the whole thing if you wanted. But the perennium stuff is not in that part.
Just the perennium?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's a medical term, James.
I'm not saying that is hardly the point here. It's like having a stand on abortion and being like, well, they sell condoms at Cub. It's like, that's not the fucking point here.
Yeah, don't get your perennium in a twist, James. Jesus.
Jesus. Okay. Well, now that I've formally passed on, let's start the show. All right, starting off in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Norse Code, the #1 podcast for your Minnesota Vikings. I'm your host and producer. My name is James Pagoshnik. Thank you guys so much for listening. And at the other end of the tin cannon string, we have our analyst and co-host. You know him from numerous blogs and I nearly said perenniums. God damn it. Okay. Trying again. I never do the show drinking, and I suppose this is why. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Norse Code, the #1 podcast for your Minnesota Vikings. I'm your host and producer. My name is James Pagoshnik. Thank you guys so much for listening. And at the other Yep. And at the other end of the tin cannon string, we have our analyst and co-host. You know him from numerous blogs and podcasts around the internet, most notably from theathletic.com. He is Mr. Useful Human, Arif Hassan. Arif, I'm convinced that in some way, shape, or form, the spirit of Justice Mosqueda, even though he hasn't passed, but the spirit of Justice Mosqueda is what is causing all of these problems before we record tonight.
I don't know what problems you're talking about.
I think the fact that I can't see that it took me 3 attempts to do an intro has everything to do with the fact that our guest this week is Justice Mosqueda from the Acme Packing Company. He is
that would make sense. What trouble were you having? Was there like a word you kept on stumbling over that you kept having to get around, or what was the issue?
You know, for whatever reason, the word involved has just always like it's always been out ahead of me, and I've been trying to like avoid problems with it, but it's just
been like on the periphery.
Very, very much so. I'm including this in the. I'm going to find a way of putting this into the clip show for the end of the year stuff. So, enjoy my maniacal laughter and trying to understand why words ended up inside of the Justice interview that are in there. So, turn your mic up just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit.
What if I just bring it closer?
I mean, that works too.
I've brought it closer.
Well, then fine.
But I can bring it even closer.
Well, let's keep it where it's at right now.
You want me to eat it?
I want you to save room for Jesus, all right? I want it to... If this were middle school, I would want you to keep... That's what I'm really... That's what I'm really here for. So this is awkward. I'm talking to you now after I've shot you in the face with a shotgun.
I've decided
it's not canon.
It's not canon. I've decided to. I'm not going to say look past this because I am not a forgiveness person. Like, okay, so here's
not really into forgiveness. No,
that's like the thing about like if everyone had like some capacity for forgiveness in them, the world is probably a better place. Maybe, right? Okay, I can accept that that's true, but I can also not forgive you because you shot me in the face with a shotgun for being optimistic. That's
after threatening to the day before. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was like pretty. I thought you had actually known that the shotgun was coming.
No, I did not.
It's the thing.
That's the best part. I had no idea. So the fact that the shotgun...
Comic me was right.
The fact that the shotgun was involved made it even like just... I didn't even make the connection until like 5 minutes after I read it. Like, oh no. Like when I sent you the message and I scrolled up and went, uh-oh.
Yeah, well, when you said that you threatened me with a shotgun, I was like, was that on the pod or what was like? I hadn't registered it until I remembered that the last thing I typed to you was, all right.
Yeah. Just acceptance of death. Yes. I'm trying to end a drought and what's possibly a baby witch curse here.
I am trying to preserve the soul of the team and win at the same time, and that's hard. Do you understand that? Do you understand how hard this is for me?
Just let me get my kicker. Skull Viking.
What a weird Twitter life I live.
Remember
when I got into a fight with the Mall of America food court on Twitter?
Yes, I do. That was one of your better moments.
God, Jesus.
You had a lot of really odd Twitter foes back in the day.
I did not expect like Michelob Golden to be one of them.
Nope, but their social media team had something to say.
Yeah, like very quietly and very into the mic. Like, thanks, Zoe Kravitz. Why is Zoe Kravitz whispering my name during the Super Bowl? That's a fucking crazy sentence. I don't think anyone could have conceived from the invention of humanity that sentence emerging into being.
Listen, all things are possible through Ben DiNucci.
No, you can't. No. You can't have, like, the fourth best rock star of the 90s daughter whispering into a binaural mic as a promotion for Michelob Golden with a waterfall in the background, whispering my name and pronouncing it correctly without ever contacting me to figure out how my name is pronounced.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it shouldn't be that difficult to pronounce your name, but...
Well, you'd think that, wouldn't you?
Well, Speaking as someone with an unspeakable last name...
Your brother can't pronounce... I don't think he still can pronounce my name.
Oh, well, that says more about him than it does your name, but...
Jaron Curse finally tweeted something else to somebody else.
Okay, so you're not special?
which is great news, but I just want to emphasize that. So someone tweets out, the greatest thing to happen to the Minnesota Vikings in the past 5 years is parting with that bum ass at JRonCurse8. He responds with, I know. But the thing is, he is responding to someone whose at is cockmeat5090.
Oh, I go
life's rich tapestry.
I go to Cockmeat90 for all of my NFL opinion news. So, like, why is that weird?
I was just telling you who he was responding. I didn't say it was.
Oh,
weird.
okay. I get it.
Cockmeat. God, Jesus Christ! Of all the people to respond to,
Cockmeat90.
5090.
5090.
Yeah,
because those numbers might mean something.
Right. I wasn't watching who was right about whatever they're talking about. I'm winning! I'm winning the poll! This reply from Thomas Sullivan, I wasn't watching who's right about whatever they're talking about, or Reef for J-Ron. Fucking God! So
you're winning 82.1%.
My domestic partnership with the Vikings is at an all-time low. I thought a new TV would spice things up for us, but it's just not happening. How do I keep the fire alive when I'm putting in all of this time and effort just to be disappointed? Are my expectations too high, or am I not getting my needs met? Anything will help.
I can't imagine one could effectively argue that you're getting your needs met if you're watching Vikings games so you can keep up with a twice a week, although most recently once a week podcast, and then once every 2 weeks in the off-season podcast. I don't know. What...
All right, Arif, you're missing the scope of this. This is a relationship question.
It is a relationship question with the Vikings. I understand that, and that the new TV is like a let's call it a bedroom toy. I get the, but I was about to get there, and that's why I sighed. Because that's the direction it went in, and but I just want to make it clear how absurd it is that a Vikings podcast is not attempting to convince you to watch the Vikings, but has led you to watch more of the Vikings than you would have.
Here's my question.
I would say just consider an open relationship. Watch other teams.
You know, you could do that, but if you really want to stick with Minnesota. Have you tried watching the Vikings in other locations? Have you tried watching it in a bar and pretending that you don't, recognize the team? And you're just, what is this?
You can role play.
You can role play
public exhibition of the Vikings.
Exactly.
Literally exhibiting the Vikings. Yeah. Okay.
You can do that. There's options in order to do this.
Well, wait, how about have you tried a blindfold?
At one point, a paper bag was brought out during the Zoom watch along. I want to point that out.
Yeah, man, I think you're in trouble. I would try drawing faces on the sour cream container, just to
googly eyes.
Yeah, googly eyes, smiley face, just to let her know that you've appreciated the gesture she made in conceding to the 5-pound tub of sour cream, so that nobody forgets you have an open container of sour cream. Just to let you show your appreciation.
I mean, here's my suggestion. Have you tried role playing with the sour cream situation?
Get a blindfold.
Get a blindfold. Go out to a bar. I don't recognize this situation of sour cream. This is what you get for asking relationship questions on this show.
It's you. That is, I feel like this really is the opposite of JMU if you're looking at, like, the flat land as opposed to all the mountains and the majesty and the gorgeous
scenery. Meanwhile, this is flat and blizzarding. Well, not blizzarding. It's just
Yeah,
slick.
it's just snow is making itself known. Is really what's happening.
North Dakota out North Dakota itself tonight for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was there's been a light dusting of snow ever since I showed up in Fargo. Don't know if that means anything. But it wasn't snowing right before I arrived, and then there's just been this light dusting accumulating time over time. So I really feel like I have returned to North Dakota.
Like it turned into a whole winter is coming thing.
Yeah. Which, mind you, I took a picture. Just anecdote. I took a picture of the view from my hotel room, and it is flat. Right? There's like nothing. You can see a water tower kind of in the distance. You can see a cell tower, and I was like, wow, this is a gorgeous view. I love North Dakota. Half sarcastic, half nostalgic. Like honestly, like because I remember North Dakota like this, and I'm getting like some good nostalgia. But also, this is funny. I tweeted out, and like at least 8 people, if not many more, were like, "Oh, I know exactly where you are," and then told me where I was, and I was like, "I'm not even creeped out. I'm impressed." Like there are no indicators in the view that you should know where I am. And I was given the cross street. I was given some local establishments that were literally across the street from where I was. Like not down the block, not a couple of streets down. Literally on the street I'm on. They're like, yeah, you should check that place out. Wild that. I mean, that's a skill that you develop from living here, I guess. But like, very impressive.
I know that empty field. That's our empty field.
Yeah.
That's right next to the theater.
Yeah, I've been to that. That's Larry's empty field. I know where that is.
I may have tipped a cow there once, back before it was all strip malls and all you can eat sushi places.
Yeah, I got someone to DM me that was like, "Look, if there's an open field in Fargo, I have passed out drunk in it," and it is impressive that you recognized where I was based off of that information. But man, you got to evaluate that sentence a little bit.
I mean, I joked I went to college in Valley City because I lost my Grand Forks privileges after I'd drank a bit too much in Forks and I needed to dry out. So of course you go into the middle of North Dakota in order to do that. Why would that be weird? But testing it that way. All right, and I have plenty of batteries, so that shouldn't end up being an issue. Let's head toward homecoming.
God, great to be back.
Yeah.
The old stomping grounds.
The old stomping grounds.
Turn left.
Okay, that's going to be a great addition.
Yes.
Turn left.
I can't. That's... Those are train tracks. Let me... That doesn't work. I don't know.
Yeah, all those like commercials where like the GPS fucking
I've
sends you off
never
a
had
cliff.
that happen.
Exactly. I was like, those are like kind of a funny premise, but I can't relate. Like that's never. The GPS has always put me at least on a road.
Yeah.
Like it's not always been right, but it's always put me on like a road.
Yes.
That's the first time I've seen that.
You're like, well, actually.
So are we in Middleburg or because I saw a sign to Middleburg. So I don't know if we're in Middleburg, but congrats, Middleburg. You fucking sent us... Oh, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, it looked like they wanted us dead.
Yeah.
Instead... Yeah.
That'll come later.
In the
Yeah.
quarter mile. Turn left.
If you say so.
As long as it doesn't have me going on train tracks.
Oh, God. Bragg Street. Oh, come on.
Right next to the Plains Depot.
I gotta know which Forest Lane is named after. Because if it is actually Nathaniel Bedford Forrest, I'm gonna flip my shit. You know what? No, I'm not gonna look it up. We're gonna turn on Main Street, a nicely named street, the biggest street in town. Fantastic.
Even a Montessori school.
There's a Montessori school.
How evil could the place be?
I went to a Montessori school.
Okay, well that
no, that was a good thing. I was saying that's good. Yeah, not a great sell.
No, we're long past that.
David's Rugs.
And Peyton's Place.
And Front Porch. Market and Grill.
Side Porch.
And Side Porch.
You get to argue which one came first.
Love lives here, Youngkin.
Well, let's just face it. This is one of the quaintest places on Earth, despite the
ghosts.
The ghosts.
They are ghosts.
You're accepting that they're ghosts?
They're ghosts. It's better for me if I think of them as ghosts. And therefore, they are ghosts.
I suppose it goes without saying, but this is one of those whatever helps you sleep at night things.
Yeah, but also like...
Literally, yeah. To Volume 3 of the James and Arif Road Trip Chronicles. I am your host, James Pagashnik, and I have a very annoyed, useful human, Arif Hassan, with me here in the vehicle. We are just leaving the JMU NDSU semifinal match for a trip to the championship in Frisco, Texas. NDSU was able to survive the offensive onslaught of JMU. Can we call it that? Because it didn't feel like that. The refs assisted NDSU in such a way that they were successful and able to survive and move on to the championship round. Is that more accurate?
This was the great clock drain robbery. JMU did everything right and were punished for it.
I don't think we have a better example of this than the play clock that just magically would go down to 0 and no one would call a thing. It's almost like the fix was in.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the very end, the play clock wouldn't even start. It just stayed at 40 for a good 30 seconds. There was like 1 minute 10 between plays. It was wild how while NDSU needed to drain the clock just suddenly didn't go. And it would have been nice to have a couple of extra seconds at the end of the game. Maybe Cole Johnson wouldn't have panicked, which,
we will definitely get into.
Right. But yeah, just kind of wild. The refs wouldn't call pass interference all game until the one time they did on third down in the red zone. I don't know. It's tough when it's tough to play NDSU when it's a fair game. It's even tougher when it's not.
There's a van with Bills flags going on in Virginia.
All right,
now?
yeah, I saw a guy in a Washington football team blazer. It did not say football team on it, and he looked a lot like Dan Snyder, but I assume it wasn't.
That town was too quaint for Dan Snyder.
It was too quaint for Dan Snyder. He would have bought the town by now. Just so, like, Dan Snyder's not waiting in line for the gas station bathroom. No. That's right.
We've established that.
Yeah,
but
so yeah. So Aaron Rodgers is the final nail in the woke coffin. Wonderful opening, right? Like I've opened the door to mild criticism, and that means I've been canceled. The worst thing that a society can do. He even used the word silenced, right? And dude, you're on the most popular sports podcast in the United States, right? It's on the radio, right? And whenever you want, you can call a press conference with other journalists, right? You don't even have to take questions. It'd be cowardly if you didn't. You don't even have to take questions. And people will show up. You will be on CNN on that presser the moment you want to be, right? Silenced? My dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah, the idea that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be able to speak on anything moving forward is flat out ridiculous.
Yeah.
As you had said, like he could talk to any journalist at all, and not even journalist, any podcast, any whatever, any.
Dude, he's going to go on the Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh, that's
which moves it from the most popular sports podcast to the most popular podcast.
Yes.
Period. Like,
it's clearly coming.
Well, you've stuck around this long. You might as well hear the Dusty story and how it related to all of those references that happened on episode 400 near the end.
Well, look, so both Comedy Week entries were terrible. And they really, they just needed to find two people to eliminate. And they could have spun a wheel, could have closed their eyes and spun a wheel. I'm not saying that I would have been completely immune had I not.
That's fair, yeah.
But I pretty much wrote my own ticket home. And eventually my own ticket to All Stars, the All Stars episode I'm on, series of episodes I'm on, is all people who got eliminated during Comedy Week in the first 3 seasons.
Oh, okay.
Well, and they didn't tell me, they didn't tell me what I was going to be stuck doing. They were just like, hey, you want to do this little thing with us? And I was like, sure. And they got us all in a room and they gave us all pseudonyms. And they were all like, do you know what you all have in common? And we were like, no. And they were all like, you all got eliminated on Comedy Week and you're getting a second chance. And all of us were just like, well, fuck this.
Oh my God.
But it turns out that we got to make a 20-minute, they called it a long form, which is long for the show. But I was like, 20 minutes long form? Do you know me? Have you listened to my show?
I can go 20 minutes on whether or not something needs to be crispy. We'll survive.
Yeah. 20 minutes is nothing. We'll be fine. We just did 20 minutes.
12 on this story alone. So we got to do a 20-minute podcast about basically whatever we wanted. It just had to be serious. And the twist, which has poisoned my brain forever, is that it had to incorporate at least 6 of 32 unique lyrics from the Smash Mouth song All Star.
Fucking amazing. Okay, that rules.
Does it? It must be. Let me tell you.
So, no, envisioning how to do that does not rule. Let me be clear. Hearing you say that rules.
I've been having so for the last, I don't even know how many days it's been since I got COVID, but for basically all of them, I've been passing in and out of a fucking benzo and NyQuil fever dream with fucking All Star playing in my head all the time.
That's sorry, Dusty. I think that's awesome. That's so fucking funny to hear. I don't have any sympathy because it's too funny for me to understand what your pain is at the moment.
No, it's not about the pain, man. This show is never about the pain. And now that it's over, I can look back and laugh.
So, but you have to do it just feels like that setup is begging for a story about global warming, right?
We went in a different direction. We chose to. Thing was, I never really got to do any content, partly because of the structure and partly because of the people on my team that really played to any of my strengths. Nobody really knew anything about food or drinks or sports, and that's my entire life.
So you got nothing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I was just fine, I'll just do the technical stuff and just kind of write generally and coordinate generally. I'll just do the normal human stuff I'm good at. But we took this opportunity in All Stars to really flex kind of my background and content I would like to make. And it's all about, the kind of loose topic is a history of alcoholic beverages is the trope for the show.
Oh, perfect.
And the 2 stories that we do as kind of a back and forth between me and my co-host are both about historical drinking customs and the history of Captain Morgan the person.
Oh, wow. I'm hooked. That's great.
Yeah, it's going to be a fucking awesome show. And that was when I sat down with Joe, I was like, you know what? I was just so frustrated with basically everything we made, except for the commercial episode during season 3. I just want to make 20 minutes of cool content for people to listen to. I don't even give a shit about the judges. This is a one-off. It's not I have to live until next week or whatever. I just want like the people that listen to the show, not that anybody would, to enjoy what they hear. And I got a guy that I did an interview with that like waxed poetic about Captain Morgan, and we crammed in like 5 lines from All Star in there. I threw a couple extra back at Joe when he was telling the story of Navy strength gin and like how they used to test it with gunpowder on British ships, and like
holy shit! All right.
Turns out that was dangerous, so they started diluting the rum on purpose, or the gin on purpose, and calling it something else. So yeah, finally get to make a whole. This is what, my 9th episode of America's Next Top Podcaster over a season and a half, and I finally get to be part of a cool one.
Well, so that is
nothing but great experiences.
That is the way you like it, and you'll never get bored.
Fuck off. Cannot.
Hey now.
I have poisoned the discourse for the rest of this fucking podcast. I'm mad at myself for falling into the trap. God damn it, I'm fucked. I'm completely fucked.
I hadn't been sitting on that for 5 minutes at all.
I might even just like do it during the mailbag without even thinking about it, because it's been on my mind for this whole fucking 10 days. Actually, because like I got COVID and my partner's family had a health thing, they're actually like putting off the release of the episode because of us. So I'm like dragging the whole show down now.
Oh wow.
Well, that's got to be a weird situation for you. You're not used to being in that sort of spot.
Shut the fuck up.
So here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, the ice we're skating on is getting pretty thin, huh?
Water's getting warm, so you might as well swim. This is what Dusty and I did for like an hour. I had said that Dusty called me the night before, and we ended up on the phone for like 2 hours. Just yeah, this is what we were doing. This was
serious cheering up. So I just pretty much got up on the cross. And
it was glorious.
And strain out all the bacon fat as best you can, and then I think you would end up with bacon curly fry vodka, which you could probably just like shake with a little bit of tomato juice and strain into a chilled martini glass, and you would have probably a acceptable martini.
That's interesting. Being open-minded about this curly fry vodka question, I think that's kind of cool. I mean, we could all use a little change, I guess.
God, fucking hate you so much.
We have to cut that part out, James. Just a reminder.
And we are inviting back on our original host of Norse Code. Please give it up for Dusty O'Connell. Dusty, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Before we go any further, I do want to make clear that I'm about to be the victim of extensive online bullying. I won't be able to explain it to anyone. Like, it won't make sense to any of you. And if you want to figure out what the joke that these awful people are playing on me is, you're just going to have to become a Patreon subscriber, patreon.com/Norse Code, at least as long as the Christmas episode.
That's so thin. That's so difficult. Like, I'm being bullied, but I can't explain how or why. You just have to believe me. That's ridiculous. Well, we beg to differ, I think is.
Or pay about $3.50 for a month. And keep in mind, I'm not getting any of that money. So I don't know
why. Well, you're just aware that all that glitters is gold. So that's all that matters here. So I get it.
He just wants people to get the show. He wants us to get paid. It's normal.
Yeah. Well, let's go to a question for Dusty from Kenneth Allen, who asks, for Dusty, what is the thematically best drink to watch? Or what's the best drink to watch this absurd Viking season?
Dusty, you know what the question is. Figure it out.
Yeah.
If I was going to have a drink, I would probably drink it and not watch it, especially given this absurd Viking season.
Okay, what's the cocktail that you would watch the Viking season with?
Rusty nail, obviously.
So let's explain what the rusty nail is exactly.
You're the worst bartender. What is a rusty nail, Dusty?
Do you know what a conversation is?
No. and
no, we have no experience with back and forth on this podcast. You're going to edit it anyway, but
yeah.
Dusty finishes by swearing at me, so that's something that you should know. I don't know why.
Tattletale piece of crap. He's human shit.
Dusty is absolutely the kind of person that like gives people ammunition and gets mad at them for using it.
Yeah, that is exactly what this.
James set me up for this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You
clearly need to get away from this place.
Oh my god!
I'm just saying you chose what details of the story that you wanted to share were. So,
well, that is going to be it for this episode of Norse Code. Again, hope you guys have enjoyed it. For Reef, for Dusty, my name is James. Thank you guys so much for listening, and please remember, case cookus.
Love you.
And we'll be back later this week.
Fucking Christ, that ruled.
Don from Ohio asked, what will be the name of the new reality series Mike Zimmer and his girlfriend will be starring in? My guess is going to be Beauty and the Cyclops.
Oh, God. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I can't beat that.
Nope.
But some people did enjoy it. So check that out over at The Athletic, theathletic.com/author/Arif-Hassan. My health insurance relies on my continued employment at The Athletic, so please subscribe.
Wow. I don't.
I'm not like particularly sick at the moment. I just felt like I needed that plea in there.
I don't think you've ever included that in the... I am genuinely stunned. Well, it's the holiday season, folks, so please
I could slip and fall at any time.
And let's be honest, we've seen the video of me doing this. So,
right.
So to make sure I have health insurance, I am Well, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Norse Code. Again, over on Patreon on Sunday, we're doing the watch along. Check it out. Be over Zoom. I'll have some bingo cards, and hopefully then I won't be as flustered as I am right now by this ridiculousness.
I mean, given your intense love of bingo, I think that you'll be laser focused on the bingo.
Oh my God, I hate
you. chose so bingo. That's
I did because it was. I did because we did it before and it was fun. And
wait, the bingo was fun.
I didn't participate. Remember, I just made the cards. So
that's the most participating.
I just stop, Mr. Bougie Cookie. I don't care. If your cookie costs $3.50, then you've got other problems.
First of all, it was a 2-for-1 deal by accident. Second,
I am ending this show. Stop now. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Norse Code. Patreon.com/Norse Code. Bonus stuff, including the bonus episode and all that. For Arif, who clearly needs his health insurance, my name is James. Thank you guys so much for listening. And please remember, case cookus. And we will be back next week. Norse Code is the largest and only division of Norse Code LLC. You can find Norse Code on the Daily Norseman, SB Nation's Vikings blog at dailynorseman.com. You can also find it on iTunes, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and wherever fine podcasts are aggregated. Our Vikings blogger extraordinaire and generally useful human is Arif Hassan of The Athletic, and he can be found at Arif Hassan NFL. I am your producer and host, and my name is James Pagashnik. You can find me at the show's official Twitter feed at NorseCodeDN or my personal account at Big Mono. If you'd like to donate a few bucks to the show, you can do so in a few different ways. You can go to patreon.com/NorseCode and donate there. For $3.50 a month, you get bonus material and more.
You can also go to paypal.me/NorseCode for a one-time donation, or you can go to norsecode.threadless.com and pick up some Norse Code merchandise. Any questions or comments that cannot fit in a tweet can be sent to norsecodepodcast@gmail.com. On behalf of the Norse Code staff, thank you so much for listening.
Our formula is this.
Hey, all things are possible through the power of Ben DiNucci. Hey, James and Arif. I hope I pronounced that right. This is Ben DiNucci from the Dallas Cowboys. Wanted to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays from myself and all the Norse Code listeners. I know you're big fans of me and JMU. I appreciate that, guys. I love going to JMU. JMU is the best school in the world. Gave me a bunch of opportunities to be able to do what I love. So I have no regrets. I love JMU from the bottom of my heart. Appreciate it. I want to wish you guys Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whoever you guys are spending it with, friends, family. Have some fun, enjoy it. Relax, kick back, have some good food, have some drinks, and get ready to roll New Year's for the new podcast. I'm sure you guys are going to have some new exciting episodes coming out after the new year. So just wanted to say all things are possible through the power of Ben DiNucci. Happy holidays, guys. Merry Christmas. Go Cowboys and go Dukes.